You know a phrase I've really come to dislike? You did your best. You gave it your all, sweetheart. You are thinking I'm a nut job right now. Like, Jenny, you have absolutely lost your mind. That is a very kind thing to say. What is your problem with that? But I promise after today, you're gonna see why I hate this phrase, why I don't think it helps, and what we're going to do instead to move forward. We have to get one thing straight off the bat. The only time we say this is when we did try our best, but our best wasn't good enough to reach the goal that we had set. So we may say this in an attempt to comfort someone else, comfort ourselves, and you know what I say about being comfortable. It's fine, but you don't grow in a space of being comfortable. So the goal is not comfort, the goal is to grow. And nobody is setting goals within their comfort zone because you've already established that. Every single goal that you set is going to be outside that comfort zone. So if you have a goal and you didn't reach the goal, that's fine. But if you respond to it with, well, you know what, I did my best, and that's it, you will never reach your goal. And I hate to be the one to tell you that, but it's so true. So in case you haven't learned this about me, I'm a very competitive person. I used to fight it. I used to be ashamed of it. Now I just own it very proudly. It has nothing to do with winning any sort of medal, with beating anyone else. I could care less about those things. I don't even need anyone to know what I'm working on myself. I just do it for me. But I am super competitive with myself. And if I set a goal, I want to actually reach that goal. And I've always been this way. The problem is, I didn't always know how to reach the goal. So then I would sit in shame, I would beat myself up, I would do all of these unhelpful things that literally would not get me to the goal. It's not a bad thing to want to achieve something, but it's a bad thing when you beat yourself up for not achieving that thing. The reason I'm even mentioning myself is because I know that I work with women who are like me. They're very competitive. But I also know that they're coming from a place of perfectionism, not knowing how to accomplish the goal that they have set. And I think we are the people that heard that the most growing up. You did your best. And I think we heard it because people wanted to comfort us because we were upset when we didn't reach our goals. I cannot even tell you how many times I heard this growing up. And I appreciate that. But if you are competitive and you know you can do better, it's disappointing. You're only disappointed when you want to do better and you know you can do better. What happens is we all have this natural ability to do certain things and we ride that natural talent, but then we set higher goals and we have to acquire skills to get there. And that is the art that nobody understands, is how to put in the work to acquire the skills to get to your goal. So if I was disappointed with my dancing performance, I only have myself to blame because I did not put in any work on my own to get better at the things that I was not good at. I was out there doing my best. I was doing it to the best of my ability, but here's where the problem is. I wanted to do more and my ability was not there. And so I needed to be told, great, you're doing the best you can, but now you have to try to do better if you want to achieve that goal. Your best right now is not good enough for that goal. And that's a hard message to hear. Sometimes the truth is hard to hear. And telling someone you did your best, it misses the point. It makes it seem like your best is a destination when it's literally just a stepping stone. It's where you are right now. And the place that you want to go is a few stepping stones away from there. What's separating you from here to there is that you have to master the next stepping stone first. You have to put in work. You have to practice. You have to get really good at that stepping stone. Then you have the skill that you need to move on to the next stepping stone. And you continue to do that until you get there. So many times we just try to jump over a couple of stepping stones to get to the goal, and we might land there, we might see some success for a second, but we have a really hard time hanging on to it. And we keep falling off, we keep slipping off. And that's because there were some skills along the way that we did not learn. They were the ones we tried to skip. If you go back and you get those skills down, you will improve your abilities. The best of your abilities are now good enough to stay here. If we're telling our kids or we're telling ourselves, it's okay, you did your best, here's what we're missing. The reason that we're having to comfort ourselves with that is because there is a goal, or we would not feel upset. We did not achieve what we wanted to. When you say you're doing your best, it's not because we're lying to people. We're not lying to ourselves. We are out there doing our best. We are working our hardest, but the point is our current best isn't good enough to achieve the goals that we have set for ourselves. And to be clear, it's okay to be here and to be working on this. That's fine. But it's not fine to walk around feeling frustrated, like I'm doing my best and I'm not getting there, instead of understanding what you have to accomplish to be able to do that. Because frustration is literally born when you are here and you want to be over there. You want to grow, but you just don't know how to grow. Growth is not built on natural talent. Natural talent gets you to where you are. It is not built on luck. There is a formula for getting better at things, and everybody can do it. So if you have a goal and you do your best and you don't achieve the goal, it's time to look at yourself and say, your best is not good enough. In the kindest, most loving way, and knowing that it's totally fine that your best is not good enough. It's good enough for right now, but it's not gonna be good enough for over here, and our goal is to get good enough. And we don't do that by shutting the door in our face by saying, I tried, I did my best. We're going to learn the process that we have to go through so that you can get there, so that you can improve your good enough to where you are good enough to be at the goal that you have for yourself. We're gonna take where we are now, which is awesome, and we're gonna use it as a jumping off point. We're going to grow from here. We're gonna take our awesomeness that we are right now, and we're gonna make it even better. We are not going to say, well, I guess I'm just not good enough to do that thing over there, and take the goal away. Why would we do that? No, the goal stays in place. You look at yourself and you say, you know what? I can do this. You're going to understand what growth means, what it looks like. You are not ashamed that your best isn't good enough. You know that growth begins with honesty and assessing where you truly are and assessing what needs to happen to get to where you want to be. So today I'm going to give you some practical steps that you can embrace the journey that you're on. You're going to take your best and you're gonna grow from there. The very first thing you're gonna have to do is embrace discomfort. If you feel very comfortable doing something right now, you already know how to do that. You're a master at it. Get it, girl. You are working at your current best. If you want to improve your best efforts, you have to get good at the things you are not good at yet, and that feels uncomfortable. Good. That means you're on the right track. And it doesn't make this thing over here that you have to do bad because it feels uncomfortable. It means you're just not familiar with it yet. You need to do it more times, over and over and over, until your brain learns this as, hey, we're used to that thing. That thing's cool. We know how to do that thing now. So your mission is to become familiar with this thing. It is to develop the skills around doing this thing that feels awkward right now. You're gonna do it so many times that it starts to feel comfortable. And then you're gonna settle in your comfort and you're gonna say, this is amazing. Uh-oh, I'm in my comfort zone again. What's next? You're gonna get really good at that. I'm uncomfortable. Now I'm gonna work on it. Oh, I'm comfortable at this thing. Cool, I've grown. And then you take the next step. That is what you're doing. You're constantly taking a step into the uncomfortable zone and getting really comfortable there. And then you grow, get uncomfortable again. Growth is good. Growth is what we're after. Discomfort is a very big part of growth, and we have to embrace it and not be afraid of it and not run from it. Instead, step into it and work to make it more comfortable. The second thing, we have to set very clear goals. It does not help to say, I'm just gonna do better. You have to know exactly what you are trying to get better at. It's not, well, I'm just trying to lose weight. I'm just trying to get better at soccer. I'm just trying to get better at dance. What skill are you on now that you're struggling with? Quit thinking about so many things and get very, very clear on what the next thing is. If you are battling weight loss and you have struggled with it in the past, quit repeating the same path forward. What is it that has made you struggle every single time before? No matter what plan you've done, you've always come to a head, and there's one thing that makes you not make this a lifestyle change. What is that thing? What is it you have to work on? What skill do we have to build so that we can continue to build forward and make this a lifestyle change? What is it? I know what it is. You're not a MYLF yet. Vague goals of I'm gonna just do better, I'm gonna do better. That doesn't help you with getting better. You have to pick a specific thing that you have to work on. If you feel like I could do better, you have to start asking yourself non-judgmental questions so that you can get to the root of what it is that you can work on. And being able to be clear on your goals means you have to be willing to look at yourself honestly and see, okay, here's what I'm doing very well, great. Here's what I'm not doing very great. People don't like to look at this part. It's what am I not doing well? How can I do this better? That is the secret to growth. Being able to look for the things that you are not good at and not look at them as in, oh, I'm not good at it. Look at it with excitement because you know as soon as you can point out the thing you're not good at, you're gonna get better at it because you're gonna get to work on it. It's really exciting to get better at things, and you don't get better at things when you are not clear and honest about the little pieces that you need to get better at. Nothing is gonna make you progress towards your goals more or more quickly than actually being able to say, here, 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 here. These are the things I really struggle with. This is where I need to put my efforts. This is where I need to build skills around, because the more effort and the more focus you put there, the quicker you get better at it. And the more times you do that thing, the more confidence you build in yourself that you know how to do that thing. And the more it becomes who you are and what you do. The next thing you're gonna do, which is sometimes the hardest, is to reflect on your performance. Reflect on how you're doing. Instead of saying, well, I did my best, again, get specific. Ask yourself, where did I really glow? What things have I started implementing that I've been specifically working on? And give yourself credit for that and be really proud of yourself. But you also have to be able to look at it and say, what am I not doing that I know I need to do? What are the things that I'm still struggling with? And what do I need to do to get better at those things? You have to be able to evaluate it. So if you're in a weight loss program and you're working on a lifestyle change, and maybe you go to a restaurant and you eat with your friends and family, you have to be able to then go back and say, how did that go? Maybe you eat something that was like not on the plan, and you go into this thing like, I shouldn't have done that. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. I said I wasn't gonna do it. And you do this shouldn't and this shaming and all of this noise that doesn't actually help you. The other thing we do is we just kind of sweep it under the rug. We just don't even talk about it. So neither one is helpful. You don't want to maximize or minimize anything. You want to just simply look at it. So if you ate something off plan, you don't want to maximize it and say, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Like, how will I ever live? And you don't want to minimize it by saying it's no big deal, because you do have this goal. And if you ate off the plan, you will see it on the scale. It's more helpful to say, okay, let's see, what did I do well? I am not going to catastrophize everything and say that I totally bombed, because really and truly, I ordered very well. I just ate dessert that I didn't plan on. And so then you can have these conversations like, is this a big deal? Does this help me get to my goal? Where does this fit? All of those things, you can have these conversations versus just never talking about it and never getting better at it. If you had gone into it and said, my goal is not to go off my plan, I'm just gonna go enjoy the company and I'm gonna eat with my friends, and then you go off the plan, you have to be able to step back and say, why didn't I perform the way that I said and made a promise to myself that I was going to? Why was that? What was I feeling? What was so hard about it? Do I need to implement more self-discipline? Do I need to pull myself back for now? Like, figure that out. Why are you not performing the way that you planned on performing? Have an honest conversation. There's no room for just brushing it under the table. Look at what happened, and then we move from there. We maybe get a different game plan in place moving forward. All of the best athletes review game footage the day after. They have to look. I did that well, I implemented that skill I'm working on. Oh, look at that thing that I did not do well. How can I do that better next time? They're not rolling on the floor in self-pity and self-shame. They're not brushing it under the rug. They're just making a better plan of action. The next thing you have to do if you want to grow is to create a plan for your growth. A very structured plan that outlines all of the steps that you need to take to to improve. That might mean you're getting specific trainings on things, you might be acquiring new skills, you might be hiring a coach. But when I say develop a plan, get it in writing, get it very structured. Here are the points I need to hit to be successful, and follow those plans, which leads me to the next step, and that is practice deliberately. That means you have to commit to regular, focused practice of the skills that you're trying to improve. This step requires self-discipline, because remember, it's not something that you do over and over already. This is not a habit. This is a habit you're trying to build. And when you are trying to build a habit, self-discipline is required. The thing that you're working on yet, it's not programmed into your brain. You have to think about it. You need to be willing to put the hours in that will program it in there for you, which means you have to make it a priority, even when you're busy, even when you don't feel like it, even when you aren't seeing the end goal as soon as you want it to. You have to put in the action, because at the end of the day, wanting something and achieving something requires action. Next up, I want you to get really good, and I want you to get really excited about seeking out constructive feedback. You have to surround yourself intentionally with people who are going to provide you with honest feedback, with feedback that's designed to help you move forward. They are gonna help you identify your blind spots. We all have them, and they're gonna show you, hey, this is where you need to work on. This is what you've got to improve. You might not be able to see that on your own. I know it's hard, but if you can absorb and take in and be coachable and hear that and know it's not about you, it's not a personal attack, it's simply helping you learn to look at yourself that way. It's hard to hear at first, but then you get used to it and you actually start seeking it out excitedly, like, tell me more, I wanna get better. Believe me, I used to love being surrounded by yes people. I really did. I knew exactly who I needed to call to be validated in whatever it was that I was upset about. But when I knew that I needed to grow and that wasn't helping me anymore, I intentionally did not call my yes people when I was struggling, when I was in the middle of my discomfort, when I wanted somebody to validate me. I purposely did not call those people because I knew they would let me off the hook, and I didn't want to be let off the hook. And I'm not saying that your yes people cannot be part of your life, but just don't include them right when you're trying to quit. When you're feeling your worst, that's not gonna be your first phone call. You need to share your goals with the people who you trust to hold you to those goals, to give you the supportive, constructive feedback, the ones who say the hard message, the truth, even when you don't want to hear it. You already know who that person is in your life. Those people are willing to tell you the truth, but you have to be open to hearing it. Finally, keep learning. You are never there. You are never going to arrive one day. Never stop gaining knowledge. Never stop trying to become better. Never stop reading new books or attending workshops or hiring different coaches that are going to challenge you and push you beyond what you want to push yourself. Be on a mission to be someone who seeks personal growth, and keep writing your story. I know, moms, it's very difficult because we are saying, well, my kids are writing their story right now, and so my story has to kind of be put on hold. And I'm telling you right now, yes, your kids are writing their story, but at this age, when they are younger, you are their ghostwriter. Who do you think is a more productive ghostwriter for your kids and their stories? The mom who does not know how to achieve things, or the mom who gets it, and the moms who can help their kids write their story better? So again, I'm not trying to ruffle your feathers. I'm not trying to say your best is not good enough. The point is not what I think or what I know. The point is that you can look at yourself and be honest and say, am I capable of doing a little bit more than I'm doing? Yeah, I probably am. What can I do now? Instead of taking these big grand leaps, get really good at saying, this is where I'm at now, and this is the next step that I want to take.